Welcome back, everyone, to our playthrough of the career mode here in NASCAR Heat 2. So right now, I am very excited. We have had the last two races have been some great racing. We were at Bristol, where we got a top 10, and then at our last race, another short track at Richmond, where we did not get a top 10. We just barely got a top 20, but it was amazing racing, and it was tons and tons of fun. And that's really what it's all about for me here in the career mode. Hopefully you guys are getting the tools that you need if you're following along and playing on your own. Between the setups that I post on the channel and the setups that we're now showing in these videos in career mode, hopefully it's giving you the tools to dial in the racing and the level of difficulty to the way you want it. If you want to compete for wins in every race, then I think you've got the tools to do that now. If you want to compete and fight hard just to get in the top 10, you have the tools to do that. And the same thing, hey, if you want to finish 30th, you've got the tools to do that as well, because we've shown that. And that's really what it's all about for me. It's about having a blast and giving you guys the tools that you need to make the game as fun, however that is for you. So now where do we head? Well, we're headed to Talladega, and who knows what is going to happen here. I can tell you one thing. Talladega is extremely difficult to pass simply because everybody runs the bottom all the way around the track. They don't really give you a whole lot of room to make any moves. Now, we're going to have some speed here because we're in a 5-star car, so horsepower will not be an issue. The setup really isn't going to have a whole lot to do with that. I mean, there's a few things you can do maybe, but for the most part, it's not going to be that big a deal. What's going to be interesting, though, is can we make passes? Because I'm imagining we're going to have to start from the back. Can we make passes to get to the front like we did at Daytona? And can we maybe improve a little bit on our finish at Daytona, where instead of a top 5, maybe we can get a victory? Who knows? We'll have to answer all of those questions as we head to the track. All right, before we get this race started, let's take a brief look at the setup. Now, really nothing fancy here. It looks very similar to what you've seen at the other tracks we've run. I'm trying to use basically the same settings and the same basic setup with a few things that I adjust from track to track. Not really a whole lot to be done here. Handling is not all that big of an issue, but hopefully this will get you going in the right direction, and then you can adjust accordingly based on how much speed you want this thing to have actually in the race. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and head to the race. All right, folks, we are green at Talladega. All right, and already, is blocking us big time on the bottom. Now, as you would expect, we are starting at the back, and that is because qualifying, as it is at most of these tracks in this game, is absolutely ridiculous. The leader was something like almost 3 seconds a lap faster than us. I kind of knew that was going to be the case, so I didn't worry too much about it. But it is quite ridiculous that it ends up that way. But nothing we can do about that, so we're going to start back here in the back and see if we can make any passes. Already I can tell that I have got the wrong gear in here, because I am going to be running out of RPMs, it would appear. All right, come on, Long. Just give us a little bit more room, and I'll be underneath you, and then we won't have to worry about this issue anymore. But for right now, I am eating his bumper up. I don't think I've left his bumper since we got the green flag. And as you can see, nobody's going anywhere because everybody is... Oh, there we go. He gave us just enough room. The 40 car. Yep. Got you too. You can see we can make some speed and some passes, but we don't have anywhere to go. Now here's the thing. The game doesn't penalize you for going below the double yellow line. So yes, we could go below the double yellow line, particularly through the trial oval and then on the back straightaway, and simply force our way back in line for the corners. Yeah, that would be easy to do, but that's no fun. That's no fun to do that. I want to try to get up through the field, if I can, the right way. Which at Talladega means pushing and shoving the guys in front of you and hoping that, oh, hello, somebody got into us. Somebody got us a little squirrely there. All right, so we're going to pick up a few more positions here. I'm going to drag the brake a little bit. Drag the brake a little bit more. it doesn't really do us much good to just constantly stay on the bumper of the car in front of us, unless we're going to be close to having enough room to make a pass. Oh, I thought he was going to give us the room right there, but he didn't. So I'm dragging the brake around most of the track at this point, just a little bit, just enough to get us a little bit of room here. Ouch, somebody got into us there again. Oh, there we go. Somebody's deciding to use the top groove again. And 21 car, give me the room. Yes, he did. Woo. Look out. All right, and that's how you make passes. You just wait for guys to make a mistake, essentially. I would love to think that we could get up on that high side and run this thing 2 or 3 wide and make passes, but this game is just not built that way. I will continue to say that if we can ever figure out how to have a game where you can run 2 and 3 wide at Daytona and Talladega, then it will be absolutely amazing. And I don't mean like just the ability to run that many cars on the track. I mean actually be able to pass. I had done it in NASCAR 2003 when I was working with the physics there. I had done it where it was possible to do, but boy, does it take a lot of work. And of course, that game is now several years old. In fact, we're getting to a point where there's going to be a whole generation of gamers that may not ever know that game existed. Thankfully, we got a lot of people who are dedicated and are keeping it alive. Ooh, hold on, I'm not trying to pass below the yellow line. I'm going to get back in line there. Yeah, every time I race in NASCAR Heat 2 at one of these tracks, yikes, somebody is just wearing our bumper out back here. But every time I run at Daytona or Talladega in this game, it really, really makes me want to run these tracks in NASCAR 2003. Because it is a much better experience than in this game. We're up to 22nd. All right, Logano, if you'll move up just a little bit more. You can see we're running too wide, and the outside lane isn't doing, horrible, I guess you could say, but it just has no chance of really making any passes for the most part. Now notice up in front, you got some guys running up toward the middle, sort of straddling the dotted line. Ooh, hello. Somebody slowed down too much. So it looks like they moved up the track a little bit up toward the front. That would give us the ability to make some passes, but we got to get up there first. And we don't have that many more laps. Oh, somebody is slowing way down, and it is going to cause a massive wreck here. It's the 62 car. Wow. Wow. Okay, so we made some passes there. That is definitely not the way that we wanted to make them. All right, now we're in a terrible spot because we're sort of in the middle. We're not fast enough. We're not going to be able to catch the guys in front of us alone. But we got a bunch of hungry guys coming behind us. Maybe they will stay behind us and push us up to the leaders. All right, we're going to run this bottom just like we've been doing the entire race. And hopefully the guys behind us will work with us and get us up there. You can tell our speed is already increased now that they've caught us. So unlike the first game where there seemed to be no drafting effect, or if there was any drafting effect, it was very minimal. Now in this game, they've definitely added the draft. So they've done some things to help out, but definitely not where I would like to see it. It looks like we're topping out around 190, 191 or so. All right, I really need these guys behind us to stay in line. I don't know why they feel like they need to go up to that second group. They need to just play some follow the leader right now. It pains me to say that. But that is exactly the only way that we're going to get to the front. We're going to catch this pack in front of us. Then they're going to have to stay behind me like they're doing now. And just as I say that, whoever's behind me wants to peek out a little bit. All right, let's press A a couple of times. So we're 0.7 seconds behind Blake Cook, who is the single car that we're catching now. What I'm really interested in is the 2.4 seconds up to Dakota Armstrong. That seems to actually be getting larger. All right, I'm going to try something here that may end up being very bad. No, nobody's going with me. Okay, I went up the track a little bit to see if anybody was going to go with me, and they did not. So it looks like we're going to be pushing Blake Cook to the front if we can. No, maybe he's going to give us some room. Nope. These guys behind us, for whatever reason, have really dropped back, and that is killing us long term. All right, maybe Blake Cook will stay with us. Yeah, we're definitely not catching the guys in front. That front pack is getting farther away, or at the very minimum for us, they're holding their own and we're not catching them. We should be running 191 and 192 at a minimum at the end of these straightaways. But we're having a hard time, for the most part, getting to 190. Now we're losing too much speed in the corners, and that's by design. Again, that's the setup that's doing part of that. The rest of that is just the game. The game has you losing way too much speed. If you're familiar with how the races go in real life, they lose maybe 3 miles an hour in the corner. Sometimes they don't lose any at all, depending on who's got the momentum. But you're talking about 3, maybe 4 miles an hour max if they're just playing follow the leader. But in this game, you can find yourself losing 5, 6 on a regular basis, whether you have the run or not. All right, so we've caught Harvick, who lost the draft in that front pack. All right, let's see what he wants to do. Okay, he's going to the middle lane now. Okay, he's going to stay there, it looks like. At least long enough for us to get by. So not exactly the way we wanted to make passes, but it's one way of doing it. And now you can see 3.3 seconds ahead to the next pack. We're not going to be catching them anytime soon. Oops. Definitely not in 2.5 laps. I'm going to keep my eye on the guys behind me who would like very much to pass me. And Harvick's got a nice little run on the outside. Looks like they've got a nice second line formed up. And I would love nothing more than them to be able to come right up to us and pass us on the outside line. All right, so we've got about a lap and a half to hold these guys off, and we'll get a top 15 finish, which I would definitely take that. Not what we wanted. I thought we were going to be able to get back closer to the front if the guys gave us room to make passes, and it looked like they were going to. Because as I pointed out a little bit earlier, before that massive slowdown from the 62 car happened, at the front of the pack, it looks like they were actually giving room on the bottom to make passes, because a lot of it was single file. So if we could have gotten there, we would have had a shot at making some passes. and getting to the lead. But alas, that is not the way the race turned out. So final lap, and of course I am full throttle. My foot is nowhere near the brake. All right, so let's see if we get to 190. All right, yep, so we're going to get there, 191, 192 briefly. That's because for the most part, it's an orderly draft. But if you look back a little bit beyond the car behind us, you can see it is not very orderly. It is 2 and probably 3 wide at places, which quite frankly, I wish it was through the entire field for the most part. All right, so we come home 14th. So I'm disappointed there. Disappointed not in the setup of the car or anything like that, but I'm disappointed we had that issue with the 62 car in the race that really spread things out and hurt the opportunities for us to move forward. But nothing we can do about that. It's just part of the game, and it happens. So we come home 14th. I'm sure that's not going to help us in the point standings. But on the plus side, we did make quite a bit of money. We are almost up to $4 million in our bank account. Now we're going to, in fact, before too long, we're going to have enough money to buy our own team. It'd be nice if maybe that was even a possibility in this game. Maybe it's something they could throw in there going forward. That it would at least give you something to do with all this money that we're generating. All right, so now we're down in the point standings. We're down to 4th place, and now a full 14 points out of the lead. And again, I'll point out that the most beautiful thing about this point standings right now is that the top 4 are all junior motorsports cars. I really like that. That is exactly what I'm looking for. And of course, the other junior motorsports car, the 88 car that is still out there, is driven by Casey Kane, who does not get any points for running these events. So basically, junior motorsports is dominating these races. And this season so far, we won 5 of the races. Not bad at all. All right, so the fastest lap really doesn't make any difference here at Talladega. It's all about where you are and who's got the run. All right, so we pick up some more fans, some more money, and let's see what we've got here. Hot seat offer. Here we go. We could use your help driving the 32 car at Talladega this Sunday. Get a top 25 finish, and we might consider working with you in the future. Now, this is going to be interesting because it's a 3-star car, and wow, 3-star cars do not perform well at the restrictor plate tracks. Now, in real life, you still got a shot, but in this game, no, because of how much horsepower it takes away from you. So that should be interesting. But of course, that will be in our next video. For now, thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more of our career mode playthrough here in NASCAR Heat 2.